I'm fully prepared with everything I need for the Jay-Z documentary. The moment he sent that legal letter, I knew I had to let the world see who he really is.
Jay-Z ain't answering the phone? He ain't answering the motherfucking phone.
It's like
We had a black billionaire's lunch.
black excellence. They're sitting there like, yeah. It's the billionaire brunch. You're like,
I hate you, man.
And we here together, and we gonna keep staying together. We getting tighter.
unaware of anything going on here. This is the one time I'm gonna be with you this year.
Jay-Z is under intense pressure after 50 Cent allegedly leaked details of his private communications with Diddy. The situation is especially serious given the long-standing allegations that have surrounded Jay-Z for years. Now, those claims are resurfacing in a very public way.
Sean Carter aided and abetted or was directly involved. It's about to get real tense, and there's a lot of girls and boys who are still trapped inside the machine.
In interviews, 50 Cent has said he was never part of Diddy's inner circle. He explained that certain invitations and situations made him uncomfortable years ago, which is why he chose to keep his distance. That separation, he says, is what allows him to speak so openly now. When the allegations became public, 50 claimed he learned about them the same way everyone else did, through the news, and none of it came as a surprise to him. As the investigation deepened, attention slowly began shifting toward Jay-Z. People started asking why he remained silent while everything surrounding Diddy was unfolding. That silence raised eyebrows. Some believed Jay-Z's team may have already known his name had surfaced in civil cases and were trying to stay ahead of the situation. Others felt that even without formal charges, the damage to his reputation was already taking hold. And social media only intensified things, fueling speculation, spreading rumors, and reviving allegations at a level not seen before.
That's actually exactly what Jay-Z's accuser is saying, that even though she dropped the lawsuit, she still stands by what she says, and she only dropped it because of harassment and the fact that she's terrified of Jay-Z. She says that Jay-Z is allegedly bullying her into saying that her accusations were false. In fact, in new legal documents, she is claiming that she was recently approached outside of her home and cornered by two people who told her they were investigators working for one of Jay-Z's lawyers. She claims they tried to get her to sign an affidavit stating that her claims against Jay-Z were false, but she refused. Jane Doe also claims the alleged investigators asked her if her attorney, Tony Busby, sought her out as a client and offered her money to pursue false claims against Jay-Z, two allegations she says she denied. He says this alleged confrontation left her intimidated and terrified, wondering how they found her when her identity had remained anonymous in media reports and legal proceedings. He also claims that her parents were approached by two investigators asking similar questions about Busby and her story. In the new documents, she reveals she decided to drop the claim because she was frightened by the reaction from Jay-Z and his supporters. She says she feared she would be publicly outed and subjected to public attacks.
Industry insiders have said that even a single criminal investigation could change everything. Not just for Diddy, but for anyone closely connected to him. That's why many believe 50 Cent's documentary carries so much weight. It's not just about one individual. It's about how power allegedly operated behind the scenes, who knew what, who stayed silent, and who could be pulled in next. Commentators have also questioned how Diddy managed to remain protected for so long. Some believe he maintained influence by surrounding himself with powerful figures and tightly controlling information. As speculation grew, reports began circulating that Diddy may be cooperating with authorities in an effort to improve his situation. And according to those reports, one alleged possibility raised was that such cooperation could involve providing information about Jay-Z, a claim that has only intensified public scrutiny. Now that the documentary has officially been released, one thing is clear. This isn't just about the past. It's about what happens next. Every new detail is putting increased pressure on those who stayed silent, especially Jay-Z. That renewed spotlight matters because Jay-Z and Diddy go way back. Gene Deal, in particular, didn't hold back when asked about Jay-Z's relationship with Diddy. His comments came shortly after Jay-Z's attorney released a statement claiming the two were never especially close. From Gene's perspective, that explanation simply didn't add up.
How close was Diddy and Jay-Z? They was close enough
that they wasn't playing basketball, they wasn't playing baseball, they wasn't playing football, and they wasn't playing hockey or soccer for Diddy to come on stage, pat him on his ass, and then make the statement to people in the world that can't nobody call me Sean but Jay-Z.
That level of familiarity spoke volumes. Later, during a show in Atlanta, Diddy even joined Jay-Z on stage, and many people noticed just how comfortable and natural the interaction seemed. The moment didn't go unnoticed. 50 Cent later pointed it out publicly, helping the clip continue circulating online. When asked whether he had a personal issue with Jay-Z, Gene made it clear it wasn't about admiration or dislike. He recalled a past situation where tensions ran high, yet Jay-Z didn't appear to remember it at all. According to Gene, that's how some people at the very top operate. They move through situations, leave problems behind, and forget them entirely because they're living in a completely different world.
That's how these guys are, man. They'll cause situations and cause problems, and then they'll forget what they done because they on a whole nother atmosphere. You know what I'm saying? A lot of shit that he did, you gotta understand, you know, like now he'll say that they're kids because he's raising kids of his own. You understand? But how would you like it that if Blue Ivory, 15, 16 years old, 17, 18 years old, dating in his early 30s? You're not gonna go for that. No matter what she came through in Hollywood. But you gotta understand, guys who was around there, we didn't know Jay-Z them ages. We didn't know these cats' age. You know what I'm saying? They wasn't having no beards and nothing like that. They was wearing low cuts. You understand? Clean face. I would have never believed when Jay was coming around the block, scooping up the young girls and stuff like that he was 30 years old. You know, if they 17, 18, 16 years old, and they 22, you thinking they 22, 23, something like that, 24 years old? They mama and them need to check them. They daddy and them need to check them. But that's not that far off. But for somebody to be 30 years old in their 30s, and they dealing with kids 16 years old, 17, 18 years, now that's a problem, that's an issue. And now he see that because he's raising kids. And he got a young daughter. I think he got another daughter that he didn't claim, and now he claiming them. These cats was doing a whole lot of stuff that people in the industry won't speak on. And then now that you're speaking on it and it's becoming where it's that you can get on YouTube and you could talk about this shit and say what you seen or say what you heard, you understand, or what you know. Some people look at it being a problem. But these cats ain't street cats. They entertainers.
Dame Dash, Jay-Z's former close friend, also recently spoke out about the serious accusations surrounding Jay-Z. What stood out to him most wasn't just the claims themselves, but the way people were reacting to them. Dame said he had never seen Jay-Z face this level of public scrutiny before. For decades, Jay-Z appeared untouchable, especially in mainstream media. This time, however, that sense of protection didn't seem to be there.
It's just odd to see him in that, getting looked at in that way by white people. Like Jay does, yeah, like I hope that shit didn't happen, but I'm like, damn, they turned the world real. Like people on a certain level have been fucking with him a certain way where he couldn't do no wrong for like 25 years straight. This is the first time he's not getting a pass with white media. Like he can control black media because a lot of them either work or do business with him. But like, drink champs can't get him out of this one, and neither can Charlemagne, because those are the guys that hold him down no matter what he does anyway. So he got to get to People Magazine and Entertainment Tonight right now, because they on his head. But the question is why? Like why now? Because for me, I'd be like, yo, that's so ridiculous, yo, take that to trial. You're not gonna win. Let's get a deposition or something, you know? So I don't know why they on his head so much, pause. But I never seen him, you know, under this, you know, I never seen him in this position to have to explain himself. Pause.
How you feel about the statement he came out with?
I mean, I didn't hear him say anything. I heard a piece of, you know, like I said, for me, you see, I'm doing an interview, so I talk. I thought it was long. For a statement, I thought it was long, pause. But, you know, I think right now, his silence is the worst thing for him. If he is innocent, he needs to let people ask him questions, and he needs to be able to say his side of the story, as opposed to letting that lawyer talk.
Dame also criticized the move to completely distance Jay-Z from Diddy. He felt that claiming they were never friends was an extreme choice of words and would likely spark backlash. What surprised Dame most was that this is the first time he can remember Jay-Z being pushed into a sustained defensive position, outside of a few isolated moments. In the past, Jay-Z has rarely been forced to explain himself. Now, for the first time, Dame says the pressure feels real and constant. That leads to a bigger question. Why does 50 Cent seem so focused on Jay-Z? The history with Diddy alone doesn't fully explain it. According to Tony Yayo, the tension between 50 and Jay-Z goes back years, rooted in rivalry, competition, and questions of loyalty. Tony Yayo explained that hip-hop has always been fiercely competitive. Artists clash, egos collide, and tensions can run high. But at the same time, there are moments when people grow up, put differences aside, and move forward. He pointed to a recent show where 50 Cent performed alongside Dr. Dre, and Cameron came out to join them on stage. Years earlier, they had their issues, but that moment signaled growth and maturity. Cameron recently said that Jay-Z prioritizes business over the culture, and Tony Yayo said he understands why some people see it that way. He pointed out that Jay-Z often shows up for major, corporate-style events, but doesn't always show the same level of support for hip-hop moments that matter deeply to artists like 50 Cent.
And there was this one part where 50 was talking, and he was saying, yeah, when Yayo was locked up, every G-Unit show, we actually put aside the money.
Bro, I told
for him, and he had like a, he's like, Yayo had like $1 million.
Right. I just told you when I came out of my building, I see the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah.
There was no way I was getting shot there. And this is what I kind of tell you is like, when we was talking about stacks with the Porsche, 50's not gonna let you say, get the Porsche. He gonna say, let's get him out the hood first. You know, if the money's there, but the money has to be there for you to live like that. The money's there, 50 didn't have to do that. Rest in peace to Hervé from Interscope, because he always said to me, man, 50 do more for you than any artist, than anybody does for their artists, more than Jay-Z. Young Guns was right there.
Yayo said the biggest difference between Jay-Z and 50 Cent comes down to approachability. Jay-Z operates at an extremely high level, but he's distant. 50, on the other hand, may be just as powerful, yet he still shows up for people and stays connected. Yayo added that artists should never forget the people who helped build them up in the first place. Then he shared the moment that stuck with him the most. Yayo claimed Jay-Z didn't want 50 Cent to perform at the Super Bowl halftime show. According to what Yayo heard, Eminem stepped in and made it clear he wouldn't perform unless 50 was included. To Yayo, that didn't feel like business. It felt personal.
Well, speaking of Cameron,
yeah,
he made a statement recently. He said that Jay-Z loves money more than hip-hop. And he pointed out that Jay-Z performed at Tom Brady's Hall of Fame ceremony, but he didn't perform in any Hip Hop 50 events.
I mean, Jay-Z's on a whole nother level. Like, I mean, you know, he's like, but you know what I like about 50? 50's on a whole nother level, but he's still approachable. You still get to meet the people and you know, Jay gotta remember the people that made him. You know, I'm not saying I don't got respect. I respect Jay-Z, 50, used to respect, you know, Diddy, but all that crazy shit going on. But, you know, I always respected him because I looked at, for New York, those were like the, you know, the guys. You know what I'm saying? The guys with the most money and the most influence. So with Jay is like, when the last time you haven't seen Jay. So I think people are just gonna say that. You know what I'm saying? But for me, I mean, Jay, you know, you gotta remember, he didn't want 50 at the Super Bowl. That was crazy. I'm like,
Wait, Jay didn't want 50 at the Super
You didn't
Bowl?
know that? Yeah, he didn't
Well,
want.
I remember Eminem pushed for it.
That was some hater shit. Yeah,
I remember
pushed for it,
Eminem
yeah.
was like, I'm not going to do it unless 50 does it. I heard that.
Yeah, and
But I didn't know
don't
that
think-
Jay was trying to stop it.
I don't think Jay. I don't know. 50 never told me that, but I don't think Jay wanted them there. I don't know.
Because of what, some of the
I mean,
back
you
and
know,
forth back in the
it's
day?
competition. You got to think. 50 always been competition for Jay. Remember, I'm about $1. What the fuck is 50 Cent?
That was a long time ago.
That was what, 9? What was
Yeah,
that?
but then
9?
but after that, they did a song together. Remember
Yeah,
the
of
whole,
course,
the
but
whole
50
Gina
was
sneaker
50 was
thing?
always competition for niggas. Then remember Jay said, "Yo, 50's coming." He told Siegel and them, and Memphis Bleak and all them.
Yeah.
And come on, 50's like he's on a whole nother level. You got to remember he came after niggas. He came after Jay and Rockefeller. G Unit came, and people might shit on G Unit, but with Eminem, Dr. Dre, 50 Cent, nobody has outsold us, bro.
Over time, the relationship between Jay-Z and Diddy reportedly began to fracture. People close to the situation have said trust became an issue, with growing concerns about who might look out for themselves if things ever went sideways. Jaguar Wright has even alleged that Jay-Z played a behind-the-scenes role in Diddy's downfall, though it's important to note that this remains an unproven claim.
So why does it all come to a head now? Why now? Why?
Because he's the acceptable monster at this time, like R. Kelly was the last time I sat on this couch.
When people ask, why now? Why does everything come to a head at this moment? The answer some insiders give is uncomfortable but simple: timing. They argue that Diddy has become what they call the acceptable monster of this moment, the figure it's finally safe to confront publicly. The comparison to R. Kelly is intentional. For years, allegations followed him, but real consequences didn't arrive until the cultural climate shifted. Once the industry, media, and public sentiment aligned, the silence broke all at once. According to this perspective, Diddy now occupies that same position, someone whose influence once protected him, but whose protection has worn off. In this view, it's not that the behavior is new, it's that the environment has changed. Power structures shift, alliances weaken, and suddenly what was once ignored becomes impossible to defend. That's why everything seems to be surfacing at the same time, because the moment finally allows it to. Roger Bonds, Diddy's former head of security, also shared his perspective on what that relationship looked like from the inside. From his point of view, while he did see Jay-Z and Diddy interact, he never believed they were especially close. According to Bonds, Diddy seemed to view the relationship as much tighter than it actually was.
I believe Puff felt they was close.
Oh.
But if you was a person on the outside looking in, like me and Uncle Paulie used to always talk about it, me and D-Rock would talk about, yo, why Puff kind of like sucking Jay off so much?
People on Diddy's team often noticed that Diddy appeared to show up for Jay-Z far more than Jay-Z showed up for Diddy.
To me that all the time. I mean, Jay ain't really with Puff. It was no personal into it. It would be like if Ron Burgos is flying from LA on his jet, but Jay-Z just so happens to be going to New York too.
In his view, Jay-Z and Diddy were never as close as many believed. They shared money, space, and influence, but not loyalty. Over time, those fractures became impossible to ignore. Now the question is whether those cracks will continue to widen and potentially pull everyone involved down with them. Let us know what you think in the comments below.